CPAC Chairman Matt Schlapp. Trump on the track to win the popular vote as well. I think we're seeing the numbers right now that he's up by about 5 million with the popular vote. What do you make of the numbers?
Shocking. I mean, it hasn't happened since 2004. An amazing development, an amazing campaign, an amazing evening. I see that Nevada is now ruby red on the board. That's a pretty amazing thing. I've spent a lot of time in Nevada. I won't go into all the ways. They seem to always pull out the win on the other side. That's an amazing thing. Mercy and I got back to the hotel about 3 o'clock in the morning. We saw you guys in the makeup chairs as we were leaving and you were coming in. But Arizona looked very positive as I was going back through the numbers as well. And look, we've just lived through history. We're never going to see anything like this ever again. The sad thing is that one of the components to living through history is how much the socialists wrecked our country. And this is a daunting task to get it back. I had talked to President Trump so many times after 2020 when he was thinking, should I run or should I not run? And he told me a couple of times he'd only do it if he thought he could really turn it back around. If there wasn't enough time, he would be more careful about doing it. So that means he's confident that if we make the right steps as a country, we can turn this thing around. And look, you don't have to like him if you're a Democrat or a liberal or whatever, but the Constitution still reigns, and we all need to be able to afford to raise our families.
There we go.
Why don't we go back to that?
Yeah, so true. I was saying earlier, just this morning, the reaction is that people are saying, now I can afford my groceries once he's back in office. I feel safe. I feel my kids will be safe. I feel my kids will have a future. So that's just the reaction. And some of my friends who are Democrats texted me that too as well. So I think the feeling, across the country is a little bit of relief, Mark. But we all know how the media likes to respond and react to things. Let's take a listen to what they said on NBC. Apparently, it's Biden's fault. Take a listen.
And that's what makes the timing, I think, of President Biden's decision to step down after the debate something that, if she does in fact lose, will be under a microscope because, of course, there was so much discussion, even over the summer, about potentially having an open primary and having that fight play out within the Democratic Party. So I think it's one of the big questions moving forward.
I recognize that person over there on the end of the desk. You were there. You were, just what do you make of how they're responding to this?
I think they're going through the process, the grief process. They've got to go through the various stages right now. They're in denial. I don't mean this specifically of the media, but just the left in general. And you can put in there who you want to include, but they're going through. I mean, they're trying to figure out, is it Biden's fault? Is it Kamala's fault? And forgetting that they've spent the last 10 years not running for anything but against one man.
Yeah.
And the American people last night, with a very clear voice, said, but that one man gave me lower prices, gave me a secure border, had a world that was not at war. And despite whether I like how he tweets or the names he calls people, I can't afford not to vote for him. And it's going to be very interesting. I mean, and Matt, you were there as well. We went through the autopsy post 2008. And it'll be very interesting to see what the Democrat Party does, what their autopsy shows on how are they going to win back the Hispanic vote? How are they going to win back the black vote, the union vote? Can they do it? And what happens with the so-called suburban woman vote when it's not about style points? Because deep down inside, I think most of those suburban women like the policies of Trump.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.